The Battle of Bogside was a very big fight. It happened in Derry, a city in Northern Ireland. The time was August in the year 1969. This event was truly a major turning point. It changed many things in Northern Ireland. The conflict there became much worse after this. People still talk about those difficult days. Two main groups lived in Northern Ireland then. One group was Catholic, often called nationalists. They wanted a united Ireland or fairer rights. The other group was Protestant, often called Unionists. They wanted Northern Ireland to stay with Britain. There were many tensions between these groups. Nationalists felt they were treated unfairly. The Bogside is an area in Derry city. It was mainly a Catholic nationalist area. It became a famous symbol of resistance. We will look at three very important days. These were August 12th, 13th and 14th. The Battle of Bogside had lasting effects. It led to a much longer, harder conflict. This conflict is often called the Troubles. Derry city had many serious problems. Most people in Derry were Catholic, but Unionists controlled the city council. This was because of unfair voting rules. The voting areas were drawn up unfairly. This system was called gerrymandering. So Catholics had little political power. This made many people very angry. Housing was another big problem for Catholics. They often lived in very poor, crowded houses. It was hard for them to get good homes. Protestants often got the better houses first. This discrimination was open and widespread. Jobs were also hard for Catholics to find. Many felt there was no fairness for them. These grievances built up over a long time. The police force was called the RUC. RUC stood for Royal Ulster Constabulary. Most RUC officers were Protestant. Catholics did not trust the RUC. They saw the police as biased against them. They felt the RUC protected Unionist interests. The Apprentice Boys of Derry are a group. They are a Protestant loyalist organisation. Every year they have a big parade in Derry. This parade marks an old historical event. It remembers the Siege of Derry in 1689. Many nationalists saw this parade as a provocation. It felt like a display of Unionist power. It often passed very close to Catholic areas. Before the parade, in August 1969, tension was high. Everyone knew there could be trouble that year. There had been smaller clashes before this. People in the Bogside were ready for problems. The air in Derry felt heavy with expectation. Police numbers were greatly increased for the day. They were there to control the crowds, but their presence also added to the tension. The parade started on August 12th. The apprentice boys marched through the city. As they passed near the Bogside area, trouble began. Marchers and Bogside residents shouted at each other. Then some stones were thrown from both sides. The situation got out of control very fast. Section 4, August 13th, 1969. The barricades rise and Free Derry is born. The rioting did not stop after the first day. It continued all through the night. On August 13th, the fighting became even worse. More people from the Bogside joined the resistance. The area became a true battleground. The police could not enter the Bogside easily. The residents were determined to hold their ground. It was a community and open revolt. People in the Bogside started to build barricades. These were made from anything they could find. Old cars, furniture and paving stones were used. The barricades were built to keep the RUC out. The community began to organize itself. Local people formed defense committees. They coordinated the resistance against the police. They were united in their struggle. A famous sign appeared on a gable wall. It said, "You are now entering Free Derry." This phrase became a powerful symbol. Free Derry meant the area was self-governed. It meant the RUC and state forces were not in control. It was an act of defiance against the government. Section 5, August 14th, 1969. The British Army arrives. The rioting entered its third day on August 14th. The violence was not just in Derry. Trouble had spread to other towns in Northern Ireland. Belfast also saw serious sectarian clashes. The entire region seemed to be on fire. The Northern Ireland government was unable to cope. It seemed powerless to stop the escalating disorder. A major crisis was unfolding rapidly. The Prime Minister of Northern Ireland was James Chichester Clark. He realised his government had lost control. The RUC was overwhelmed and exhausted. He made a very serious decision. He officially asked the British government for help. He requested that British troops be sent in. This was a sign of desperation. It showed the local police could not manage. British soldiers were then deployed to Northern Ireland. They arrived in Derry on the afternoon of August 14th. Their stated mission was to restore peace and order. They took up positions around the bogside. They did not immediately try to enter Free Derry. Their presence marked a new phase. Section 6, the immediate aftermath, counting the cost. After 3 days, the intense fighting stopped. The arrival of the British Army calmed things. The bogside area was badly damaged. Streets were covered in debris and burnt-out cars. Many people had been injured in the riots. Estimates suggest over 1,000 people were hurt. Most injuries were caused by CS gas. Others were hurt by stones or police batons. Remarkably, no one was killed directly in the bogside. This was despite the fierceness of the fighting. However, the injuries were often very serious. The entire community was left deeply shaken. The widespread use of CS gas was very controversial. It had affected men, women and children. Many homes were filled with the choking gas. The physical and emotional toll was high. The political impact of the Battle of Bogside was huge. The Stormont government in Northern Ireland looked weak. It had shown it could not maintain order. It could not govern without British help. The British government in London began to take more control. Decisions about Northern Ireland were increasingly made in London. Section 7. A turning point, the long shadow of Bogside. Why was the Battle of Bogside a turning point? It showed many people something important. It suggested that peaceful civil rights protests were not enough. For some, it seemed that only physical force worked. This was a very dangerous and significant shift in thinking. It opened the door to more violent methods. The idea of armed struggle gained more support. This had profound consequences for the future. The events in Derry led to a growth of paramilitary groups. This happened on both the Republican and Loyalist sides. The Irish Republican Army, or IRA, became much stronger. Many young nationalists joined its ranks after Bogside. They felt the state would not protect them. They believed they had to fight for their rights. The British Army, initially welcomed by some, soon became an enemy. This was a tragic and predictable path. The initial relief at the army's arrival did not last. This honeymoon period was very short. Soon, the British Army was seen by many nationalists. They viewed them as another occupying force. Clashes between young people and soldiers became common. House raids and arrests increased tension further.